ADHD is like having a brain that refuses to work. It only sprints. You sit down to do one simple thing, and 5 minutes later, you're watching a video about sharks, Googling how volcanoes work, and wondering if you should learn guitar. Teachers call it a distraction. Bosses call it a lack of focus. But in the real world, this chaos is exactly why ADHD brains win when things go wrong. ADHD brains are wired for novelty, danger, and fast reaction. That's not an accident. That's survival software. In the wild, the person who noticed every sound, every movement, every strange detail didn't get eaten. Tunnel vision got you killed. Scattered awareness kept you alive. And when something urgent happens, ADHD brains flip into hyperfocus. Everything else fades out. That's why so many firefighters, paramedics, entrepreneurs, and creative geniuses have ADHD. When the building is on fire, you don't want the calm spreadsheet person. You want the ADHD brain that locks in and moves fast. You're not broken. You're just running a brain that was built for emergencies in a world that mostly runs on emails. Procrastination looks like doing anything literally except the thing you're supposed to do. You'll clean your room, organize your phone, watch 3 documentaries, and somehow still avoid sending one email. People call it laziness. But procrastination isn't about doing nothing. It's about waiting for the right moment to care. Your brain is wired to respond to urgency. When a deadline is far away, your brain treats it like it might not even exist. But when the clock starts ticking, everything snaps into focus. That's when the caffeine hits, the music goes on, and suddenly you're a productivity monster. That's not a flaw, that's how humans survived. In the wild, only immediate threats mattered. A tiger today was more important than a shelter you might build next week. So, your brain evolved to ignore distant problems and explode into action when danger gets close. That's why so many procrastinators do their best work at the last second. Pressure turns your brain on, calm turns it off. You're not lazy, you're deadline powered. Give you a ticking clock, and you become unstoppable. Dyslexia feels like letters are playing musical chairs on the page. B turns into D. P becomes Q. Words refuse to sit still. Reading takes longer. Spelling feels like a prank. But while everyone else is busy decoding words, your brain is doing something way more powerful. Dyslexic brains think in pictures, not paragraphs. You don't just read information, you see it. You visualize systems, structures, and how things fit together. That's why so many designers, engineers, architects, and storytellers are dyslexic. You don't get stuck on the sentence, you see the whole movie. Where most people zoom in, you zoom out. You spot patterns, connections, and big ideas that others miss because they're busy arguing over commas. Your brain traded spelling speed for visual horsepower. You're not bad at words. You're just running IMAX. Colorblindness sounds like you're missing something. Like the world is less colorful, less detailed, less exciting. People show you a painting and go, wow, look at all those reds and greens. And you're standing there thinking, I see. Brown? It feels like you got a downgraded graphics card for reality. But here's the twist. When colors fade, patterns come alive. Colorblind brains are wired to focus on contrast, brightness, and shape instead of flashy colors. And that turns out to be a huge advantage. In the wild, predators don't show up glowing bright red. They hide. They blend in. They use camouflage. And while everyone else is distracted by pretty colors, colorblind people are locked onto movement, edges, and outlines. You don't see the painting, you see the shape inside it. That's why studies show people with color blindness are better at spotting hidden objects in red-green camouflage. You're basically running nature's cheat codes for pattern recognition. While others are fooled by color tricks, you see through the disguise. And this still matters today. Colorblind people are great at catching visual errors on maps, charts, screens, and designs. You notice when something doesn't line up, when a shape is off, when a pattern breaks. Designers miss it. Engineers miss it. You don't. You're not missing color. You're seeing structure. While the world is busy being flashy, you're quietly catching what's real. Being overweight feels like your body is hoarding calories, like it's preparing for the apocalypse. You look at a donut and somehow gain 5 pounds. Your friends eat whatever they want and stay thin, while your body saves every crumb like it's gold. It feels unfair. But that's because your body isn't running modern software, it's running survival mode. For most of human history, food was not guaranteed. It disappeared. It failed. It ran out. The people who survived were not the ones who burned energy fast. They were the ones whose bodies stored it. Fat is not laziness. It's a backup battery. When everyone else ran out of fuel, you kept going. That same trait also makes you harder to kill. Extra energy means your body can fight illness, recover from injury, and survive stress longer. That's why in hospitals, people with more body fat often survive serious illness better than thin patients. You're built like a tank, not a race car. Modern society worships skinny because food is everywhere. But evolution didn't care how you looked. It cared whether you made it through the next famine. And your body said, I've got this. Being skinny feels like you got the lightweight version of the human body. People assume you're weak, fragile, or can't handle physical stress. You hear things like, eat a burger, or do you ever go to the gym? But a skinny body is not a mistake. It's an efficiency machine. Less body mass means less heat trapped, less energy burned, and less fuel needed just to exist. You cool down faster, move more easily, and recover quicker. That's why marathon runners, climbers, and endurance athletes are usually lean. Their bodies aren't built for brute force, they're built for going long. In ancient times, this was survival. When food was scarce and travel was constant, the people who needed fewer calories had an advantage. You could walk farther on less food. You could escape danger without overheating. You didn't need a huge fuel supply just to stay alive. Your body was designed to run on low power for a long time. Skinny bodies also handle heat better. In hot environments, bulky bodies overheat. Lean bodies shed heat like a radiator. That's why many populations in hot climates evolved slimmer builds. It keeps the brain and muscles working when temperatures rise. You're not underpowered. You're running the long-distance version of the human body in a world obsessed with size. Acne and oily skin feel like your face is actively working against you. You wake up, look in the mirror, and there's a brand new pimple like it spawned overnight just to ruin your day. Your skin gets shiny by noon. You blot, wash, treat, moisturize, and somehow it still looks like your pores are running a factory. Society treats clear skin like it's a moral achievement, so when you break out, it feels like you failed. But oily skin is not broken, it's armored. That oil, called sebum, is a natural protective barrier. It fights bacteria, blocks dirt, and seals moisture into your skin. It's basically your skin's personal security system. While dry skin cracks and lets things in, oily skin stays sealed and defended. In the wild, that meant fewer infections, better wound healing, and stronger protection against the environment. That oil also keeps your skin flexible and hydrated. And that's where the long-term advantage kicks in. Oily skin ages more slowly. Wrinkles form later. Fine lines show up years after they hit drier skin. While everyone else slowly turns into leather, your skin stays elastic and youthful because it's constantly lubricated from the inside. Acne is annoying. It's messy, it's unfair, but it's the side effect of a system that is working overtime to protect you. Your skin isn't weak, it's hyperactive. You're not cursed with bad skin. You're running a high-performance defense system on your face. Stretch marks feel like your skin betrayed you. One day everything looks normal, and the next day there are lines across your stomach, hips, thighs, or chest that weren't there before. People treat them like flaws, like proof you let yourself go, or that something about your body went wrong. But stretch marks are not damage. They are evidence of your body doing exactly what it was designed to do. Stretch marks happen when your body grows faster than your skin can stretch. That growth can come from puberty, muscle, weight change, or pregnancy. In evolutionary terms, this was a good thing. It meant your body was adapting to new conditions. Wider hips for childbirth, fuller bodies for survival, stronger muscles for protection. Stretch marks are the signature left behind when your body upgrades. They also show up most in places tied to fertility and strength. Hips, thighs, breasts, stomach, these are the areas linked to reproduction and energy storage. Your body was preparing itself to survive, carry, and sustain life. The marks are just evidence of that expansion. Even biologically, stretch marks are linked to higher collagen activity, meaning your skin was actively remodeling itself instead of breaking. That's not failure. That's adaptation. You don't have ruined skin. You have proof that your body grew, changed, and survived. Stretch marks aren't flaws. They're growth lines. Big nose. Having a big nose is one of those things people love to joke about. You see your side profile in a photo and think, why does my face look like it's leading the way? It feels awkward. It feels unfair. But a big nose is not a design flaw, it's a piece of high-performance survival equipment attached to your face. Your nose is not just there to smell things, it's an air processing plant. A larger nose means more surface area inside your nasal passages. That lets it warm cold air, filter dust, and regulate moisture before the air ever reaches your lungs. In cold, dry, or dusty environments, this was life-saving. People with small noses struggled to breathe comfortably. People with big noses could inhale deeply and keep going. A bigger nose also improves your sense of smell. That matters more than people think. Smell is tied to danger detection, food safety, memory, and even attraction. In the wild, smelling something before you see it could mean spotting a predator, finding water, or avoiding spoiled food. Your nose is a built-in early warning system. And there's a social side too. Strong, prominent facial features signal confidence and presence. That's why so many actors, models, and leaders have bold noses. Your face looks memorable. You don't blend into the background. You're not stuck with a weird nose. You're wearing a biological upgrade that helped your ancestors breathe, survive, and stand out. Baldness feels like losing something important. You look in the mirror one day and think, wait, when did my hair leave without telling me? Society treats hair like it's confidence, youth, and attractiveness all rolled into one. So when it goes, people feel like they've been downgraded. But baldness isn't a loss, it's a system upgrade. Hair is insulation. That's great if you live in the Arctic. It's terrible if you live in a body that sweats, runs, and overheats. A bald head releases heat faster, dries quicker, and stays cooler. That's why soldiers, athletes, monks, and fighters across history shaved their heads. Less hair means less heat, less irritation, and zero maintenance. You don't fight your own biology every morning with shampoo and styling you're already optimized. Then there's the psychology. Humans are wired to associate bald heads with dominance and authority. A clean scalp makes your face look stronger, sharper, and more serious. That's why so many movie villains, action heroes, and CEOs look like polished bowling balls. You don't look harmless. You look in charge. You didn't lose your hair. You lost your camouflage. And when you stop trying to hide, you start looking powerful. Seasonal allergies feel like your body has a personal vendetta against spring. Everyone else is out enjoying flowers, fresh air, and sunshine, and you're busy sneezing like your nose is trying to escape your face. Eyes watering, throat itchy, head foggy, it feels like nature declared war on you. But what's actually happening is that your immune system is running in ultra-sensitive mode. Your body is not overreacting, it is over-detecting. People with allergies have immune systems that are extremely good at spotting foreign particles in the air. Pollen, mold, dust, tiny spores. Your body sees all of it before anyone else even notices. While everyone else is breathing it in without a clue, your immune system is hitting the alarm. That's why you sneeze. That's why your eyes burn. It's not a weakness. It's surveillance. In the wild, this kind of immune sensitivity was a lifesaver. You were the first to notice when the environment changed, when the air carried something dangerous, when plants were releasing toxins, or when mold was spreading. You were the tribe's early warning system, the human canary in the coal mine. And this still shows up today. Allergy-prone people often have cleaner homes, better air quality, and more awareness of their environment. You notice what others ignore. You track seasons, air changes, and invisible threats without even trying. You're not too sensitive. You're tuned into a world most people are blind to. While others breathe blindly, you detect what's in the air before it becomes a problem. Caffeine sensitivity feels like your body is allergic to productivity. One sip of coffee, and suddenly your heart is racing, your hands are shaking, and your brain is doing parkour. Meanwhile, your friend drinks 3 cups and takes a nap. It feels unfair, like you got the weak version of the human nervous system. But what's actually happening is the opposite. Caffeine doesn't give you energy. It blocks the chemical that makes you feel tired. That means if caffeine hits you hard, your brain was already alert to begin with. You're not slow. And coffee makes you fast, you're already fast. And coffee just turns the volume way too high. People who are caffeine sensitive tend to have nervous systems that are naturally switched on. You notice sounds, movement, and changes in the room. You pick up on things before others do. In the wild, that meant survival. The person who woke up at the smallest noise didn't get eaten. The person who stayed alert without needing stimulants kept the tribe safe. Your brain is running on premium awareness mode. Coffee is like pouring gasoline on a fire that's already burning. And there's another hidden perk. Because caffeine overwhelms you, you don't rely on it. That protects your sleep, your hormones, and your long-term health. While everyone else is slowly burning out their nervous system with endless lattes, yours is forced to stay balanced. You're not weak to caffeine. You're naturally awake in a world that needs stimulants to feel alive. Your so-called disadvantages aren't mistakes. They're not bad luck. They're not defects. They are survival strategies. The traits you've been insecure about, the anxious brain, the distracted mind, the sensitive body, the stubborn metabolism, the hyper-alert nervous system, those were the tools that kept your ancestors alive when the world was dangerous, cold, and unpredictable. These weren't flaws. They were upgrades. But modern life flipped the scoreboard. We live in safety, artificial light, climate control, and constant food. So now efficiency looks like weight gain. Awareness looks like anxiety. Depth looks like overthinking. Sensitivity looks like weakness. And suddenly, the very traits that once saved lives feel like problems to fix. They're not problems. They're just optimized for a different world. Your brain, your body, your quirks, they're your ancestors' greatest hits. The software that refused to let your bloodline disappear. So which disadvantage do you carry? Drop it in the comments and tell us how this changed the way you see yourself. If you want more content that flips what you thought you knew about your mind and body, hit subscribe. And check out the video on screen for more hidden advantages written into your DNA. Your disadvantages aren't weaknesses. They're features.